I have no idea what I'm singing right now. You ever just get like a song, something like a beat in your brain, and you have no idea where it comes from? It could be from a show, could be from a video game, could be I could have just dreamed it. I don't know. But I don't know. Sounds cool enough. This is Loki's theme. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, Loki's theme I've always imagined. If you've ever seen the Robert Zemeckis version of Beowulf, not like an amazing movie, but there's like the opening, when Beowulf shows up, there's like this really intense, like chanting sort of like Viking theme, and it's that I always kind of imagined would be Loki's theme when we get to it. Oh, well, we'll have to wait until season 2 of One Piece for that. I mean, like, season 1 of One Piece, you know, over 1,100 episodes, it was good. It was good. I don't know how they're going to top that with season 2. Season 2, you know, it's going to be weird because every season of One Piece, right, from here on out, I don't know how many episodes they're going to be, but it's not going to be very many. I think if they're doing 2 cores a year kind of situation is what I think they were saying they were going to do. So it'd be like season 1 of One Piece, 1,100 something episodes. Season 2, 12. You know, season 3, 13 episodes, you know, something like that. Oh, dude, it's gonna be weird. It's gonna be weird. Loki's theme is Deathwing's trailer from World of Warcraft. I never really played World of Warcraft. I did when I was in college, and it was well beyond when World of Warcraft was popular. You know, because when did it come out? When did WoW come out? What was it, 2004, 2005, like the early days of WoW? Yeah, there was no way. I've gone over this before, but there's no way in hell I could have ever played WoW, because, like, in order for me to play WoW when I was, like, 11 when it came out, I would have needed a new computer, and we would have had to have better internet, because we only had dial-up internet, and it was pretty bad. And I would have had to pay for the game. And by the way, when I say it would have been my parents that would have had to pay for all this. And the game itself was what, like $60, you know, the ESRB. And then we also have, the subscription fee. There was also a subscription fee, wasn't there? Yeah. I had a hard enough time trying to convince my parents to pay $5 a month for RuneScape every month. I was like, hey, for Christmas this year, can you get me this video game? It'd be like, well, how much is it? That's like $60. Well, that's a lot of money, but if you're good, maybe Santa. Also, I'm going to need a new computer, a better internet connection, and $5 a month for the subscription fee. There's no way in hell I was going to be able to get that. So I played it later on. I remember I was at a Big Lots, which they're actually all shutting down right now, but I was at a Big Lots, and I found like a World of Warcraft, you know, the CD-ROM in there, like discounted to like $10, and I bought it, and I'm like, all right, let's see what all the hubbub's about. And it was all right. It was fine. I played it for like a week or so. Yeah, R.I.P. Big Lots. Yeah, there were a few around here. They are no longer around at the moment. Yeah, MMOs are beyond me. Yeah, I mean, I like me a multi-million online player game, whatever the abbreviation for it is. The kind of games I never really got into, and I've tried a few times. I've tried to play Dark Souls. I've tried to play Elden Ring. They're just not the kind of games I'm into, right? I'm just not into that style of game. In the words of Senku, it's time to get excited. All right. Would you all be, before we get into One Piece, before we get into Loki transforming into a giant fucking dragon, spoilers, would you all be interested in me basically, you know how I would do those videos on Naruto where I would just go off on Naruto for like an hour and just rant about whatever's on my mind about Naruto? I'm having the urge to do that with Dr. Stone right now, because the last part of Dr. Stone, I've always had a bunch of things to like talk about, like overall. And I don't know, I've been rewatching the anime up till where it's cutting off. They did Core 2. I don't remember. When is Core 3 of Dr. Stone? When is Dr. Stone Future Science. When is Core 3 coming out? Part 3 release date. It's coming out in April. Okay. I might release this prior to that. I don't know. Yeah. What is Ragnir? Ragnir is a squirrel. It's pretty obvious that Ragnir is either a squirrel that ate the hammer Zoan or a hammer that ate a squirrel Zoan. Pick which one. But it would be the mythical Ratatotsker Zoan. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Dr. Stone was left open-ended. I'm not even talking about the ending. Like, the ending is, like, I could talk about the ending. But, like, I'm talking about, like, there is a... Whenever you're reading certain manga, I don't know, you could read and, like there's a point sometimes where, you know, I'm not going to say the writing deteriorates, because I still like some of the writing in the later part of the story, but there's a shift. And I definitely noticed that shift when they traveled to America and the America arc started. There was like a shift that was going on, and I'm asking myself more and more often when watching that season, like, why didn't they just do this? Why is this happening? Wait, why do they hate each other again? Like, I just find myself asking that, and I've come to some conclusions. I've even, like, let me show you something. Okay. Yeah. Okay, this is the America arc of Dr. Stone. I have annotated this. I have went through and I have annotated the manga. Because I'm like, I love Dr. Stone. I love this series. Inagaki and Boichi, they're a god combo. I love it. But, like, I'm reading this arc, and it's bugging the shit out of me. And I'm like, why is it bothering me so much? And I went back through the manga, and I annotated everything. I'm like, all right. So I'm trying to figure out a way to, like, put into words what's going on here. So I'm actually, you know, I don't usually do those long breakdown, like freaking thesis statement kind of videos on, like, manga, and I love it when people do those, because I don't, like, usually have the attention span for that. I usually just get on and talk about whatever. But, like, you know, I always appreciate somebody that, like Totally Not Mark is really good with this. Go watch Totally Not Mark's videos. He'll go out there and make, like, a whole breakdown of Dragon Ball, and it'll be, like, several hours long, and I'd be like, I wish I had the commitment and the, not even commitment, but I wish I had, like, the attention span to do something like that. You know what I mean? I just, you know, and I think I might have found it with Dr. Stone. I think I might be motivated enough with Dr. Stone. The video essay is oversaturated. Now, I think there's some that are really still good. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's like video games on YouTube or Twitch. Like, the video game niche is very oversaturated. Yeah, but there's still some really good gamers out there, right? Yeah. Okay, anyway, I think that's a good enough preamble. Let's get into talking about One Piece chapter 1174, the strongest in the world. I'm just going to throw up an image here. Here we go. Dun, 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 dun. 4Kids, Red Eyes, Black Dragon theme plays. Actually, can we cue that up? That's probably not copyrighted. Can we cue that up? 4Kids, Red Eyes, Black Dragon theme. You know the one. Oh, here we go. Yeah! Okay. So, let's start with this. Let me go and start a poll. Is Loki the strongest in the world? Yes or no? I'll add a third option. Yes, no, or, trying to think. Pineapple. Yes, no, or pineapple. There we go. Do you think Loki will destroy the Red Line? Because in the mural you see a dragon versus a giant serpent. Yes. We are going to... I have an interpretation of that. I did not even really notice, because we'll go to the mural. We will pull up my shitty rendition of the mural, and we will go through it. And we will go and we will see some stuff about the mural. But first, let's just talk about the sheer size of this thing. Loki is thick. Okay? Loki is thick as hell. So when I'm going to make a video about this, just talking about like the size difference between Loki and like everything else in the story, because we still don't have like an official height, right? Like we don't know. We could assume that Loki and Harald are about the same height, around there, and they're ancient giants. So Oars and Oars Jr., though, they were more round than like lanky. Like Harald and Loki were more like tall kind of giants. So like if you want to tell me Oars and Oars Jr., I think were around 70 meters. Let me just double check here. Oars is a little taller than Oars Jr., so I'll just use him. Oars was 67 meters tall, so let's just round up. I'll give Oars the extra 3 meters, okay? He's 70 meters tall. If you want to say Loki was 80 meters, something like that, because he's taller, I'd be all right with that. Harald and Loki being around 80 meters, right? Does he answer Super Chats? Yeah, I'm answering one right now. I'm answering one right now. We'll get to that. We'll get to the mural. And I'll get back to that. We have a little, all Super Chats are saved for me to read throughout the stream. They're up there. They are up there. We did not hear the 4 kids. Well, I could play it again, but for right now, let's just go through this. Oh, by the way, wait. We have a weight on Oars? We know how much Oars weighed? Is Oda doing weights now? He usually doesn't tell you how much characters weigh. Wait a minute, stop. That might just be the entire stream now. We go and see how many Okay. Oars weighed 102 tons. Hi, from Mexico. Hyped for the bakery in the live action. I credit that to you. Yeah, I'll take that one. Yeah, bakery in Whiskey Peak. And it's not even like a front facade. We see a scene with Iñaki Godoy playing Luffy and Yonda Thomas playing Igaram inside the bakery hanging out. So, like, oh my God. All right, yeah. Oars is 102 tons. All right, now Kaido. We have to look up Kaido because there's something relevant for Kaido here. Now, we have, it seems like yes. It seems like 37% yes, 34% no, and 28% have voted for the pineapple. So, I'm going to say Loki is canonically the strongest in the world. We're going to do another crossover battle here, another poll. Who wins? Not even a crossover battle because these are from the same story. Kaido Dragon, Loki Dragon. And I should see one particular side of this. Okay, do we know how much Kaido weighs? Okay, we don't. All right. Maybe that was just for Oars because he's a big, beefy boy. But yeah, Kaido is, he's about 7 meters tall. So how big is the dragon? I think we did know how big the dragon was. I was watching one of those videos a little while ago that does like the size comparison with all the One Piece characters, and they did have a stat for Kaido, though that might have just been like from comparison from other things. Kaido's pretty long because of, you know, his serpentine dragon form. But like the idea that, yeah, Loki dwarfs Kaido. You know what though? Kaido, he's got that pluck. He's got the moxie. You know what I mean? Oh, man. I mean, it's not as one-sided as I thought it would be. I thought it would be way more one-sided than even that. But like 83% going for Loki on that one. All right. So I want you to remember the scene in the manga when Kaido first appears. Because I remember that chapter. And that chapter was insane. Okay, let me see if I could pull it up. If I remember correctly, that was chapter, I want to say 918. Let's see if my knowledge of One Piece chapters are accurate. It was a 918, 920. It was somewhere around there. No, it wasn't that one. 919, maybe 920. It was, I'm thinking it was 920. Wait a minute. Nope, not 920. Was it 21? It was 21. Yeah, it was 921. Okay. So, like, this scene right here. This was insane. I remember this chapter. Okay, so the scene where they're on top of the castle, right? And then this fucking thing descends. Look at that. Look at Kaido. Like, I want you to remember, if you were reading One Piece back then, at the beginning of Wano, this scene blew everybody's mind. This was incredible. This was the moment of how the hell are they going to beat Kaido? How are they going to kill this guy? How? Like, he's a giant fucking Shenron dragon. How? Right? And then Luffy immediately charges in, because he's Luffy, and he gets his ass kicked. All right? Like, Luffy's just like, I got this, and he charges in, gear third, gear fourth, yeah! And Kaido just, BAM! Just slaps him to the ground, right? That aura was insane. I don't know how big Loki is, but do you know the scale? Because we see Luffy in his giant form on top of Loki, and Luffy's giant form was about the same size as Kaido. Remember, Kaido was a dragon. He was like a serpentine kind of shape, so he's a lot longer. But in terms of like when he was like coiled up and like fighting against Luffy, Luffy made himself like comparable in size. There was, let me see if I get the shot of that. Actually, that was a more recent, well, maybe not. That was the end of Wano. That might actually have it. Hold on a minute. I was like, okay, so 944 was when, no, 1044 is when we got Gear 5th. Yeah, part of my job is remembering numbers, but I'm not good at numbers, so that's another problem. Let's try 1047. That might get us to where we need to be. Oh, yeah. And that's when he threw the lightning. Where's the one where we get the... There's one shot where Luffy just turns giant over Kaido. No, that was... Oh, this was at the end of the fight. Oh, it must be, it might be 1046. Are you seriously debating this? Dude, I think it's important to bring up because the sheer scale and difference, okay, of Kaido and Loki. Like, I'm not... Like Loki will kick the shit out of Kaido. That's not the debate. The debate is, like... There is a new top dog in town. Like, that is the debate. All right, here we go. Here we go. Check this out. Check this out. All right. The audio is kind of low. Well, I can do that. All right, look at this. By the way, it's always funny whenever Luffy goes into his giant form because he usually ends up getting, like, one shot immediately. Like, in this form right here, this looks really cool. Luffy goes into giant form, and he's just, like, about to step on Kaido. And Kaido, you can kind of even see it here. Kaido has a lineup to Luffy's, like, dick, like, right here. He could just, like, bite Luffy in the crotch, and I think he kind of ends up doing that. He just, no, he goes around and bites Luffy in, like, the arm, but he could have totally just, like, okay, oh, just, you know? So, Luffy's about comparable to Kaido right now, and then Kaido comparison to Loki. Loki is the size of an island, okay? Loki is the size of an island right now. That's the important thing, but, like, in order to just scale it, it's insane. Joy Boy Hockey Nuke always clears. I mean, yeah, for the moment, yes, but the Joy Boy Hockey Nuke is not a person. It's just, like, a latent ability. So, I'm not going to compare that right now. Loki is bigger than Onigashima. Oh, yes, by several orders of magnitude. That's what I'm saying. Like, okay, let's take... Okay, island in One Piece. There's islands that are very small, and there's islands that are huge. Loki is comparable in size to, like, an entire lair of Elbaf. Like, and that's the thing. And we'll go to the mural now. We'll go to the mural because the mural has really important things to discuss. And I think I can glean something from it. But if Loki wanted to just go up in the sky and just fireball Elbaf, he could destroy that entire tree. Like, it wouldn't even be difficult for him. He could just, like, Boro breath times 100, boom! And then the entire tree just gets obliterated. So I don't want the tree to fall down, but I kind of feel like the tree is going to fall down. I kind of feel like it, yeah. All right, let's look at the mural. All right, so here is my rendition of the mural. My beautiful artistic representation of the Harley text. Not accurate. There are some things that are off. But if you look at, let's see, number 24 at the very top of the screen, we have a dragon that it looks very similar to the dragon that Loki just turned into. And a lot of people have said Nidhogg. A lot of people have said Jormungandr. And even I was like, oh, maybe it's Jormungandr. But I forgot about, because I was focusing too much on the Tree of Yggdrasil. And there is other dragons out there in Norse mythology and Germanic mythology. And one of such dragon is a dragon by the name of Fafnir. You see Fafnir chilling out here. What attitude, what aura does Fafnir give off in this image right here? Because Fafnir right here just kind of gives the impression of like, oh God, I'm so done. He just got done working like a whole overtime shift at the office, and he's so done, and he just goes home, and he just wants to smoke something, and go to bed. All right, he is done with the day. All right, that's Fafnir. This is another older representation of Fafnir. If you've been reading Record of Ragnarok, which I have been, so I should have known this. There's some stuff going on with Fafnir, but like, yeah, Fafnir is a really big, scary dragon. All right, there's big, scary dragon. I want to read to you. I'm just going to read to you the Wikipedia article of Fafnir, and you tell me where this lines up. Let me take off the mural really quick, because we're going to get back to the mural. There's some stuff with Shirahoshi and Fishman Island as well with the mural, but let me just read to you the Wikipedia introduction to Fafnir, and you tell me where these line up, okay? All right. In Nordic mythology, he is the son of Hirdomar, as well as the brother of Regnin and Otr. He is attested throughout the Volsung cycle where he commits patricide out of greed. So Fafnir commits patricide, he kills his father, taking the ring and hoard of the dwarf Ondavari and shape-shifting into a dragon. Fafnir's brother, Regnin, later assisted Sigurd in obtaining the sword Gram, by which Fafnir is killed. Fafnir has been identified with an unnamed dragon killed by a Volsung in other Germanic works, including Beowulf, and a number of skaldic poems. Fafnir and his killing by Sigurd are further represented in numerous medieval carvings from the British Isles and Scandinavia, and a single axe head in Scandinavia style found in Russia. The story of Fafnir has continued to influence in the modern period, such as the works of J.R.R. Tolkien, who drew inspiration from the tale of Fafnir in his portrayals of Smaug and Gollum. Okay, so the patricide thing is kind of right on, right? Like the patricide thing. Now, obviously, Oda's shifting some stuff because Loki did not kill his father out of greed. He killed Harald because if he didn't, Harald would have ended up destroying the entire, well, all of Elbaf and maybe the entire world. So we're looking into some other things here where Fafnir did indeed have a brother, Regnin, or Hyrudin in this version, and later assisted Sigurd in obtaining the sword Gram. There is a giant sword on Elbaf. There is a giant sword sticking out of the tree on Elbaf. Now, I don't know about you, but if there was any giant weapon that could slay a dragon the size of Loki, I'm going to say it's the giant sword sticking out of the island. That is probably going to be called Gram, now that I'm looking at it here. Let's read about Gram. Gram, Old Norse for ill-tempered, or Balmung in the High Germanic, is a magical godlike sword, specifically the sword that the hero Sigurd used to kill the dragon Fafnir. It is primarily used by the Volsungs in the Volsung cycle, however, is also seen in other legends such as the Thrilda Saga, in which it is wielded by Hildebrand. Okay, so it's a magic sword. The sword in the stone might have been, like Excalibur might have been inspired by this thing. Or might be at least related in some ways. So the problem here is Fafnir dies, and he dies hard. So, I mean, we could just have, we could just have it go all badass where Loki turns into a hybrid form or even the dragon and picks up, listen, right now, the only person big enough to even try to use that sword is Loki. Like, there's nobody else could have used that sword. Harald was not big enough to use that sword. Like, that sword it stretches from the primordial realm all the way up to, like, the sun realm almost hitting the astral realm, okay? So Harald's sword is 2. I mean, like, Harald's sword would be like a toothpick. Not even a toothpick. Harald's sword would be like this big to Loki while he's in this form. The scale is absurd. So are we talking what sword? The sword sticking out of Elbaf, the giant sword that's impaled. Let me see if I can pull up that really quick. I gotta do geography as everything on Elbaf, but that'll be later. Domi Reversi Loki. You know, I have to say I have thought about it. Because things are like, you know, this whole arc so far has been like, oh man, shit's hitting the fan. All right, now we're okay. Oh man, shit's hitting the fan. All right, now we're okay. You know, how can things hit the fan again? It's if Loki gets Domi Reversi'd. Oh boy, what do you think the devil fruit is called? I mean, at this point, like, let's not go Ua no Mi anymore. Let's not do the fish. Let's just do Ryu no Mi model Fafnir. I mean, that would probably, yeah. But Fafnir is not the one that uses the sword. I know. But Oda, this is, it's also like the squirrel with a hammer for a head is not exactly lining up with Norse mythology. And Loki did not kill his father out of greed like Fafnir did, but he still did kill his father, just not out of greed. Okay? So Oda's going to change around the story a little bit, but he's definitely taking inspiration from this shit. Absolutely. So I'm going to say Fafnir. Let's just go with that. And it might, by the way, the name of the dragon might not be Fafnir because Oda will change the names around. You know, like the snake, the serpent that was Rhodes' pet that attacked the Straw Hats. It wasn't named Jormungandr. It was like, you know, Jormungandr or something like that. It was like a different name. Like Oda just shifted like 1 or 2 words or 1 or 2 letters to make it a slightly different name. So, you know, keep that in mind. Like, he might not be actually literally named Fafnir, but it'll be something close enough to it. You know, we might probably learn about the ancient legend of the great dragon, Drafnir or something like that. I don't know. Something, you know, George Mangander, you know, or something like that. Yeah, that's kind of how Oda does it. But yeah, Loki, I'm just saying there's a giant sword in a tree right now, and the only thing that's even possibly big enough to hold that sword is Loki. So we got to do something. Either Loki's going to get stabbed with the sword or he's going to use the sword. I don't know. That's up for you to decide. Vote now. Use big sword or stabbed by big sword. Use it. Stab. 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 What devil fruit do you think the sword ate? Okay, every single object in Elbaf did not eat a devil fruit, but you know what? Yeah, okay, sure. Let's have the Freya zone or whatever. I'm pretty goddamn sure that Ragnir ate the Thor, Ratatotsker ate like the Thor zone. That would be really funny. Or the hammer ate the Ratatotsker zone. One of the two. How big is the castle if it could contain Loki? What do you mean? How big is the castle if it could contain Loki? What castle? Loki, this is the first time we've seen Loki in his, like, if you're talking about in the dragon form, no castle in the world could contain him when he's in that. There's no way. Could Biblo shrink the sword? He definitely could. Biblo can make things bigger. So if he already made the sword big, then yes, he could shrink it. If that was the way the sword always was, then he can't shrink it because they've already explained the books that are in the library that are already giant books that they already made. He can't do anything to those. Yeah. He transformed inside the castle. Oh, no. He transformed into his hybrid form in the castle and not his full animal form. Oh, God, no. He transformed in this form in the castle. Did he? There was a scene where you see darkness and then you hear like a big roar. I don't think it was ever shown he turned into this in the castle. He turned into his hybrid form in the castle. Well, I'll tell you what right now. If you're right about that, then Oda messed up because there's no way in hell's creation that this thing could fit inside of West Castle. He is all 4. I mean, he could have gone on all 4s in his hybrid form. He could have done that. We also know that there are ways to have, like, there's phases in between, and this is a really weird legendary devil fruit. So if you want to tell me, just for the sake, I'm honestly thinking that Oda might do this just to make things easier when depicting this thing, is that if Oda wanted to do a special exception with Loki where he could turn into a hybrid form and then change the size of that, or his full form and change the size of that, I would let Oda do that with this. Because when you have a character that could become the size of a fucking continent whenever they desire, like, that might be kind of difficult to have them interact with other characters. You know what I mean? Yeah. Do you think the combined attack of Gear 5 Luffy, Ragnar, and Dragon Loki will surpass any attack we have seen that will send Emu Gunko packing? You know what, David, I think you're right about that. Honestly, I don't even know if you want to include Gear 5th Luffy and Ragnar on that front. I kind of want to see what just, he could breathe fire. I just want to see a full-powered fire breath from Loki directed directly at Emu's face and see what happens from there. And we can gauge that compared to the big epic combo attack between Whitebeard, Big Mom, Kaido, Roger, Garp we saw at God Valley. I think Loki's got this. I mean, honestly, if Loki just wants to solo the rest of the One Piece verse, I mean, we could just do that. Luffy's just like, tell you what, I'm going to go find the One Piece. This could be your manga from now on. And then we get Loki's story. Yeah. What do you think happened with Loki and Lola? I don't know. And I don't even know if we're going to learn more about that right now while all this chaos is going on. We might learn about that post-Elbaf. Maybe Loki will explain a little bit more there. Lola and Loki could also run into each other at some point. I think that after this arc is over, I have no idea what situation Elbaf will be in. But I always thought that after this arc, Loki's going to go to try to find Mosa. So, like, why doesn't Loki just hang out with the Straw Hats and they just speed run the rest of the Grand Line, go to burst into Laugh Tale with a giant dragon? Because that's another thing, too. Now, Luffy would not do this. Luffy would not be okay with this. But the sheer size and power that Loki is right now, and he is an ally, there's nothing stopping the Straw Hats from just hopping on the back of Loki and then Loki flying them directly to Laugh Tale or wherever the hell they want to go. Now, obviously, Luffy wouldn't want to do that because, that's against the whole story and the adventure. And I also think Loki would be like, screw you, I'm not your Uber. I'm not a taxi service. Get off of me, right? Like, he's not going to do that. But in theory, they could. At the very least, Loki could do that. Loki could be like, all right, I'm going to go find the One Piece. I'll be right back. All right, there it is, right? Like, he could go wherever the hell he wants right now, but he has to go make sure his pen pal is okay, and his pen pal is Mosa. So going back to the mural really quick, I want you guys to pay attention to something with this mural. Pay attention to number 24 at the very top. We have the dragon, which, by the way, the dragon is on top of a tree. And then I want you to notice the fire that the dragon is spewing. The dragon, I kind of screwed up the scale here. It doesn't line up perfectly. It lines up better in the actual mural. But if you look at number 36 on the mural, so 24 and 36, you see 36 represents a large sea monster, kind of like a sea king. And the fire of Loki and the Sea King, of the dragon and the Sea King, are the same fire. It's like meeting together in one location, right? So I'm going to assume, I used to assume that these three, and I still could possibly go with this, these monsters, number 2, number 24, and number 36 on this mural. Actually, hold on a minute. Do I have a better... I do, but it's not numbered. It's fine. We'll just use this. So we have number 2, number 24, and number 36. Okay, I used to always think these are just the ancient weapons. All of the ancient weapons are monsters that are living things, and Shirahoshi continues on being a living thing. Like, it's weird that we know Uranos is a giant death laser, and yet we know that Shirahoshi is a living person that has the power of Poseidon, okay? So it's weird to me that some of the ancient weapons are actual weapons, like objects, and then, like, Shirahoshi is weird being, like, a living mermaid, okay? So what if we go with the idea that the ancient weapons in antiquity, maybe even going back to the First Age, the ancient weapons were actual creatures? So Pluton is number 2, Uranos is number 24, and Poseidon is number 36, right? We could go with that. And then what if during the Second Age, the Ancient Kingdom decided to make weapons that could rival the power of these ancient creatures. So, like, the original Uranus, the original sky weapon laser, was this dragon. But then the dragon, you know, disappeared or whatever the fuck, and then later on in the Second Age, the Ancient Kingdom was like, we're going to make weapons that rival the power of these ancient creatures, and we're going to make a giant sky laser, and then boom, that's Uranus. Who do you think the Straw Hats pre-time skip would have had a harder time against? Crocodile with no water weaknesses or Eneru with no rubber weaknesses? Oh, definitely Eneru. 100% Eneru. Eneru would have just... If Luffy didn't have the ability to be immune to him, they would have died. Like, there's no way. Eneru basically one-shot Zoro, Robin, Wiper, and Gonfall, and it wasn't a big deal for him. Wiper's the only one that gave him a little trouble, and that was because he had Sea Prism. That was the only thing. But other than that, he just kind of one-shot at all of them. Yeah. 36 is Dragon, the Insurgent Serpent. Okay. I don't see that. I see number 36 clearly as a Sea King. It's clearly a sea monster. 36 has got to be the Red Line, the Blood-Soaked Serpent. Okay, that I could maybe give you because the Giants do refer to it as the Blood-Soaked Serpent. Yes. Yeah. But then again, I want you to also pay attention to, can you look at number 5? Let's focus on number 5. I don't know if you can see my mouse cursor, but if you pay attention to number 5 on the left, no, you cannot see my cursor. That's okay. Oh, wait a minute. Can I do a, hold on a minute. I might be able to do it on here. Let's see here. Sometimes XSplit used to have this feature that was like a whiteboard. I don't know if it still has it. No. I might have to download it. Whiteboard. Yes, I have it. I have to download it. Oh, no, it's already installed. Okay, well, where is it? Well, where is it then? Okay. Give me a second. 13 is a fish. It is a fish. It is a fish. Yeah. Oh, here we go. I got it. Whiteboard. Okay. All right. So, there we go. Let's see if we can, whiteboard. And go blue. All right, see if this will work. There we go. Okay. Number 5 right here. I always thought number 5 was Loki. This is before, I mean, like, Loki uses a hammer. This thing uses a spear, obviously. But, like, I always thought number 5 was going to be Loki. And I got to be honest with you, I don't see a lot of people making the comparison. But number 2, this big, evil, demon-looking guy, right? And 28, like, okay. So 28 is clearly Emu. Like, I don't think you could look at Emu, like, not look at 28 and think Emu. But, like, I'm looking over there, and I'm like, okay, like, because, like, down here, this one little ship. There's one ship over here that's allying with the demon monster. And then you have the other ones over here that are all fighting against these two, right? Okay, so if you want to look at number 16 down here being the Gorosei, and there's 5 members on the boat. So, like, if like, the Gorosei are the ones that maybe, like, sided, or, like, the allied forces that sided with the demon monster, and then, boom, everybody else fought against them. Like, clearly number 4 is the sun god, is Joy Boy. Number 21 is Emmet. Number 7 is a whale. Number 22, I've actually seen people say 22 might be, like, Yamato. Yamato might represent number 22, because the minks down here, the minks are represented by this little mouse mink down here, number 10. This is 19 is clearly the samurai, and the Alabasta Kingdom is number 20. You can see their flag is Alabasta, number 20. What is 10? 10 is like a mouse. 10 is like a little mouse mink. Yeah. 5 is Loki. I used to think 5 is Loki, but like number 24 now might just be Loki. This maybe 5 just represents the ancient giants. I don't think number 10 is Ratatotsker, though. I don't feel it. By the way, there's also a fucking angel. There's an angel that's coming down, too. So that's probably the sky races, either the Bierkins, Skypians, Shandorians, maybe even the Lunarians, you know? 15 looks like Blackbeard's ship. I think there in the actual mural, there are ships that are lightly colored that aren't colored in at all, and then there's ones that are colored in, like that are inked in, and that is one that is inked in by Oda. 12 is the squirrel. Look at it. Oh, 12 is a Tontata. 12 is a Tontata right here. 12 is the Tontata. Can I wipe the whiteboard clean? Let's see what we got here. Clear whiteboard. That didn't work. There we go. Okay. 15 is the man marked by flames ship. It could be. Could be. Doesn't 25 look like Eneru's ship? Oh, 26 is the Ark. 26 is the Ark. And I'm so glad that Oda's bringing back the idea. The idea of the Maxim and the Ark that Eneru made, as well as the Noah. The Noah is down here. By the way, this whole thing, the Noah is inside of this container that vaguely looks like an elephant. So, like, we have the Noah inside, but then we also have something. I don't know if this is supposed to be Zunisha, but it looks like an elephant to me. Why is a whale falling from the sky? Do you not know that's how whales hunted in ancient times? Do you not know anything of ancient paleo whaleology? That is how whales used to hunt, all right? Yeah. We also have these little sparky things, the number 1, the little sparks that show up everywhere, as well as rain, number 8. Yeah, 8 is just a normal giant. Yeah, 9 is the normal giant down here. 9 is the giant. Yeah. I mean, 26 is the Maxim. Like, there might have been a Maxim. Like Eneru might have based his design off of something that came earlier. Because, hold on a minute here. Because I just had to make a video where I had to talk about the Noah, not the Noah, Maxim recently. I mean, look at it. We got the Maxim, and, like, you could see on the Maxim, there's, like, it cuts off a little bit, but there's all these sort of propellers and everything. You can kind of see it on the bow of the Maxim. There are those little fans and things that are, like, propelling it. The little propellers that are everywhere. I mean, look at this thing. Look at 26 and look at the Maxim. I mean, it's got the paddles. It's got the propellers. It's got the same general shape. I mean, that is the Maxim right there. That thing is going to come down. Eneru's coming back in a big way. That's why I was so excited when I saw that arc on that ship, because I'm like, oh shit, okay, Oda has not forgotten about Eneru. Eneru is coming back. Also, the fact that a giant lightning bolt is coming off of it. And by the way, where is that lightning bolt striking? I mean, it's hitting the tree, ultimately, which, by the way, that could be the sunlight tree, not the tree of Elbaf, the Adamwood tree. That could be Eve. But, like, the lightning bolt goes through, like, Emu and the vaguely Zunisha-looking structure first. Yeah. Yeah. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I saw that movie. What is 31? 31. Let me think here. Well, where's 31? Oh, where is 31? Oh, down here, yeah. So 31 is a group of people that are climbing on the Noah, which is clearly a reference to the story in Exodus of Noah's Ark. And so I think everybody could kind of, like, Fishman Island is going to be destroyed. Or at the very least, you know, the island itself, the bubble's going to pop, as it were, right? And everybody is going to have to evacuate onto the Noah, and the Sea Kings are going to tow it to the surface. Hopefully that will be where the new, you know, like the new island will be made, and then the fishmen will be able to live under the sun. Like, that's That seems to be the idea. I mean, Charlie's predictions are never wrong, and she directly mentioned that Fishman Island will be destroyed by Luffy. I think that will happen. I don't know if Luffy will be there physically. It might just be, indirectly. But the Fishman Island will be obliterated, and the Red Line will collapse, at least in that section. Now, remember, Marijois is directly on top of it. So I feel like this whole thing is going to result in Marijois tumbling down. And therefore, Fishman Island is going to be destroyed in a cave-in. And then everything is going to have to, move to the surface. Yeah. Yeah, 13 is like a fish, but you could also look at as Luffy's drawing of fish. But by the way, I want to confirm for everybody watching, yes, I want to check to see if they have it here. Hold on. Okay, so when Luffy was heading to Arlong Park and he drew that shitty version of what he thought a fishman looks like, yeah, there are actual fishmen that look like that. Like, we see them in the background during, Fishman Island. Let me see if I could actually find it. The people that live in the Ryugu Kingdom. Because it is hilarious. Luffy was not wrong. Luffy actually was onto something there. Might not be in the anime, but I know in the manga you could see him in the background. Yeah, I don't think they show up in the anime, unfortunately. That would be great. That would be hilarious. But I could try to find them. All right. Back to me. Maybe as depicted in the mural might be misrepresenting a race. It's possible. Luffy's not a racist. No, he's not. He's not. Hold on a minute. It's in one of the flashback chapters. I know that. Hold on. I actually know. I know the scene. I'm picturing it in my head where it actually shows up because I do want to show you the scene. It is really funny. Oh, I got it. I got the chapter. It's chapter 626. Hold on a minute. Give me a sec. Give me a second. It's great. I'm glad that Oda included it. All right, it's way in the background. Because it's in the scene with Kami and Papagu. Hold on. I might have skipped it. Hold on. Yamato in the mural. Very possibly. No, not that one. Not that one. Oh, man. Is it this chapter? Might not be. This looks like it should be. But I might be missing it. Where is Frankie? I don't know, but I want to know. Where is fucking Frankie? Frankie just got lost. He wandered off somewhere or something. Last time we saw him, he was at the facility. He defeated one of the nightmare creatures, and it looked like... Okay, when was the last time we saw... Okay, we got a lot of super chats. We got a lot of stuff going on here. Okay, do you think the story of how the world government was made is true? I wondered for a while if the 20 nations didn't unify and pledge to an empty throne, but instead were subjugated to some degree and pledged to Emu. I think part of it is true. I don't think all of it is completely fabricated, but the reason why Lily decided to not pledge her sword and she left instead, I think there's a reason for that obviously the history books do not talk about. So I think I think the way that the world government started as the allied forces against the ancient kingdom, I think that part is true. I think the ancient kingdom was the most technologically advanced place on the entire planet. And remember at the end of the first age, everything got obliterated. The end of the first age was an apocalypse. All right, it was like a really bad apocalypse, really bad shit happened. And then humans started to build things up again. And I think the ancient kingdom was building things up and up and up. And then the rest of the world were kind of like, hey, chill out, Ancient Kingdom, because we don't want a repeat of what happened last time. And maybe the people of the Ancient Kingdom were like, no, 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 it'll be different this time. We've harnessed the power of the sun. It's like, no, this is what happened last time. And it's sort of like a conflict of, like, do we advance science or do we stay at it? Like, no, we don't advance any further. We don't learn anything new, because at the second we start advancing science and we learn stuff new, that's when we create huge nuclear weapons that blow up the entire planet, because it happened before. So no, we're not letting you do that shit again. And the Ancient Kingdom kept doing it. And then the rest of the world was like, okay, no, we got to stop you. We got to stop you because we can't have this happen again. And then indirectly, that they didn't plan on this, but like that kind of resulted in another apocalypse. And then it was the end of the Second Age, and then the Void Century, and now we have the Third Age. So I think that's the way it happened, and they're obviously going to spin it in a way that makes the world government look really good, and like, oh yeah, no, the world government saved everybody. That was the whole point of that. Yeah, they're going to spin it that way, but I think, you know, part of the story is true. Do you think Shanks used trickery to bring in Loki? You know what? I don't even know if he used trickery. He might have, but I feel like Loki and Shanks just had a conversation at this point where he convinced him to return to Elbaf. And Loki might have been maybe really upset because maybe the Lola thing just happened. Maybe Loki was all sad because Lola didn't want to marry him, and he's all just like, "Aw." And then Shanks showed up and he's like, "You should probably go back home." And he's like, "Okay." And he shows back up, and they're like, "Loki's back! Chain him to the tree! He killed his father!" And Loki's like, "Whatever, okay, I don't care." You know, that would have been really funny. Maybe. Why can't hockey stop the Three Gods Knights abilities? Because they have hockey as well, and it would be too much of an easy out if all you had to do to kill a Gods Knight was just armament hockey. Pfft, dead. All right, that was easy. So you got to have some stakes at the end of the story. You got to have stakes, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Except if you're a vampire. Yeah. Yeah. Loki and Shanks are just homies. They're just friends. Maybe they're just good friends. Maybe Shanks showed up and was just like, "Hey, man, you got to go back home." He's like, "You know what? Yeah." Because it was 14 years ago that Loki left, and it was 6 years ago that he got chained up by Shanks. He got brought back. So, like, 8 years traveling the world, getting that special bounty of over 2 billion, meeting Lola, having some adventures. Maybe Loki did just get homesick. Maybe he felt like, I have to go back home and pay for the crime of killing my father. Because Loki's he felt bad about that. He didn't want to do it. You know, he's held up some guilt over that, you know, of just like, I killed father. I gotta pay for that. Right? So maybe he went back home and they chained him up, right? If nothing else, Oda has definitely gone above and beyond to showcase that, yes, when it comes to Sea Prism, that stuff works. That's one thing I like about Oda, is that he's consistent in that, okay, Sea Prism Stone negates the power of Devil Fruit abilities. Okay, you cannot use your Devil Fruit when you're in Sea Prism Stone. I don't give a shit how strong you are, right? Okay, and I like that because I feel like it would be really easy to do a thing where it's like, Loki's so powerful, he could go into his Devil Fruit even if he's chained up with Sea Prism. It's like, nope, that breaks the rule of Devil Fruits, and I'm glad he doesn't do that. Yeah. Jarl's line may come from the Galilea Giants. That could do as well. Let's talk about Jarl's line. But one moment here. I really want to try to find that image of the... yeah, it was chapter 626, page 7. All right, hold on a second here. I want to find the image of the Fishman in the background that looks like Luffy's drawing, because it is in the manga and it's very funny. Okay. Page 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Found it. That is really in the background, but I found it. Hold on. Way in the background. But I found it. Wow, it is way in the corner. Okay. All right. Look at this. Okay. So way in the bottom right corner, there's Kami and Papagu. This is during the flashback of Fishman Island with Otahime giving out her messages and her petitions and everything. But if you look above Kami and Papagoo, right behind the mermaid that has brown hair, like the large mermaid with brown hair, you could see. Oh wait, I still have a whiteboard. Wait, I still have a whiteboard. Hold on. Hold on. Right there. Right there. Right there. Luffy knew. Luffy was aware. That's it. Oh man, it's canon, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. All right, we have that. Now we've discovered that. Okay, now, what was the next thing on the docket? What were we doing next? Where is Frankie? Okay. When was the last chapter Frankie showed up? I got to go check things. All right. Okay. All right. Fortunately, the group was able to escape with Ripley, giving Frankie the opportunity to shoot down the MMA. Yeah, that happened. I remember that. The island-wide announcement being given by Summers. Okay. Okay, it might have been chapter 1147 or 1148. It was one of those two. So let me go back and check that. No. We've seen Frankie since the mural. We've seen him since the mural, but where the hell is he? 1147. Let's check 1148 really quick. Okay, because that was the last mention in the wiki. Okay, that was the Ronya chapter. Okay, so the Giants are responding to the message. Okay, we see Frankie. We see Frankie in 1148. I think that was the last one. Okay, so Frankie is going to save the children. Ripley is like, Frankie, I'm coming with you. Frankie's like, right, let's go. And that's it. So, yeah, I was not crazy. Frankie should have been with the group of parents going to save the kids because he was with Ripley. He was with that group. And then at some point, he just disappeared. And you might think maybe, like, Frankie's running with Ripley, and then maybe he notices Jinbei and Nami and the rest of the Straw Hats tied up, and he's like, oh, Ripley, I got to go help my crew. You go on ahead. And she's like, oh, okay, Frankie, join up later. It's like, okay. And so then Frankie left to go save the Straws, but that's not what happened. Maybe Frankie's like, oh, man, I'll go. Man. The only thing I can think of that happened is Ripley's group was heading to go save the kids, and then a bunch of Moomas came out, and nightmare monsters came out and started to attack everybody. And then Frankie's like, I'll hold them off. You know what I mean? Like, radical beam. You know what I mean? That's the only thing I could really think of. And, by the way, most people think that Loki's going to pick up that big sword. So that'll be fun. Yeah, maybe robot time. I don't know. When is it robot time? But holy shit, man. Holy shit. Could Perona and Toko be related? Maybe. Yeah, people have mentioned that because Toko and Perona each have like the same hair. They both have pink hair and they both have similar eyes. If Davy Jones was king, do you think Davy Jones is king? Wait, what? When was Davy Jones king? Do you think Lily went against the ancient kingdom because of Jones, turning citizens into golems like Emeth, Mural, show sacrifices? I don't know if Davy Jones... You know what? This is a good idea for a poll. This is a good idea for a poll. Because this is one I'm actually torn on. Was Davy Jones evil? I want to read the room on this. I want to read the room on this. Because immediately you want to say yes. Because, like, Blackbeard was his descendant, right? But so was Rox. And you say whatever you want about Rox. I mean, he was a pirate. He murdered people. He was a dick. He was, attacking Loki and shit. He didn't care. I would not say Rox was as evil as Blackbeard was. I don't even know if I would say Rox was evil, necessarily. He wasn't a good person, but he was not evil. It's really easy, and I think that's the beauty of this, is that, remember in Vegapunk's message, Vegapunk kept saying over and over again, like, do not try to look at this from the perspective of just this group was objectively evil, this group was objectively good, and it was just a battle of like black and white, right? Like, because I think that was Oda basically just like screaming at us through Vegapunk of like, this is not going to be a simple like, a long time ago, there were a bunch of evil people that wanted to blow up the world, and then the good, noble people stood up to them. Because for one thing, that's kind of boring. That's kind of a boring story to just be like, here's a group that are just cartoonishly evil. Turns out it was Skeletor or Mumra the entire time. Like, we will conquer the world! No, you shall not conquer the world. We are noble knights of God, and we will save the world. You know what I mean? It's just like, that's kind of boring. That's kind of rote. That's kind of, I've seen it before, all right? So I think we're going to do a thing where Davy Jones and Joy Boy could have been rivals. Maybe they did not see eye to eye. Maybe they had different perspectives on how the war should have went or anything. But you know, I'm actually gonna pull up a quote from Bleach. Remember Bleach? I remember Bleach. Hold on a minute. Let me pull up let's see if I can get the digitally colored manga from this right here, if I can pull this up. I used to have a thing for that. Maybe this is it. Maybe this. Does this have all of them? It does. Okay, cool. Now, what chapter of Bleach was this? Hold on, I'm a little rusty here. I'm a little rusty with the Bleach. Okay, chapter 500 was during the final arc. I remember that. Chapter 400 was right around Deicide. So it would have had to have been... I'm going to go with 350. I'm going to go with that and see where we're at. Oh, wait, no, this one cuts it off. Oh, no. No, wait a minute. This might be it. This might be it. Okay, no, that was the fight with... Yeah, it was after this. Okay, I don't think it has it here. I know the scene. I know what scene it is. I know what scene it is. Now it's just a matter of me finding the exact chapter. Let's try this. Joy Boy will evolve to Happy Man. Happy Man. All right. Okay. Not that one. Not that one. Hold on. We're getting there. We're getting there. Okay. Before this, that's when they're starting to fight Aizen. Okay. Almost there. I think I got it. Yeah. If it's not this chapter. Yep, I found it. Okay. So, this is a quote from Shunsui Kyoraku, the captain of Squad 8. And it was after they ended up finishing off Stark. And so Love and Rose were fighting Stark, and then Shunsui kind of showed up and just stole the kill. He just kind of like attacked, stabbed Stark in the back literally, and was just like, I'm taking this kill. And after the fight is over, Love and Rose kind of go up to Shunsui. It was like, hey, that was kind of a dick move you pulled. You know what I mean? We were fighting that guy, and then you all of a sudden showed up and stabbed him in the back. That's not how you do things. That's not just. That's not war. What are you doing? And Shunsui's just like, we don't have that luxury. Don't try to act all good and high and mighty. Someone may owe you or may owe you someone, but the moment you start a war, both sides are evil. That's a quote from Shunsui. And it's a powerful quote, and I think it might apply to something right here in One Piece. I have it right here. Yeah. It might go down to that line with it, right? Where like, hey, you guys, Ancient Kingdom and the Allied Alliance started a war. There's no good side here. There's no like, oh, they're fighting for justice. It might just be like, oh no, it's both trying to wipe each other out. Yeah. Inaccurate translation. Ooh. Okay, so what did Frankie actually say? If Frankie actually said, okay, so Ripley was like, Frankie, I'm going. And then Frankie's like, yeah, okay, you go and do that. That's such a. Okay, probably not meant in the inflection that I'm thinking of, but that is so hilarious. My children are about to die. I'm going to go save them, Frankie. And just like, all right, you go do that, Ripley. You go do that. Probably not the inflection, but like, yeah. I'm going to stay here where it's safe. You go and get yourself killed by a bunch of giant nightmare monsters. Oh, man. You do realize Davy Jones has been given ships and gold as tribute for hundreds of years. That's right. How rich is this man? What if all of the riches and offerings that have been given to Davy Jones that float down to the bottom of the ocean, maybe he claims it all for himself? The unsealed Davy Jones. We're going to do BoJack Unbound? We're going to unbound Davy Jones? He has become unbound. No. Dude, that is so sick, though, to imagine, like, at the bottom of the ocean, like, even below the bottom of the ocean, like, in the bedrock of the ocean floor, there's an old coffin. And this old, rusted coffin covered in chains is Davy Jones' locker. And inside of it is a creepy old decayed skeleton, like something right out of Zombie Island. And then they hoist it up. It's like Dio. It's like Dio. They hoisted him out of the ocean and they opened it. Oh. Davy Jones was just Dio the entire time. Okay, wait a minute. I'd be okay with that. Can we get Dio in One Piece? Why not? Bro, how could Davy Jones not be evil? Because you would assume, all right. What do we know about Davy Jones? Like, what do we actually know about Davy Jones? We know he was a pirate. Okay. Not all pirates are evil. Luffy's a good example of that, so you can't just go with that. We literally don't know that much shit about the guy. We don't actually, he's not stated to be the first pirate. Joy Boy is stated to be the first pirate. He has a locker. He has a locker. Whoa, we just dipped like big time just now. Hold on a second. Okay, there we go. That was weird. I was like, by the way, there's like 1,000 people watching right now. Greetings. Hello. Welcome to the channel. If you're new, I talk about One Piece a lot. But like we were doing like 1,000 viewers, and then all of a sudden it dipped to like 50. And I'm like, what the hell just happened? And it reset. So we're good now. Might have been a little bit of a hiccup there. The Davy Back fights. I don't see why creating the Davy Back fights makes you evil. If anything, the Davy Back fights seem kind of provided, like, instead of just killing each other and, like, stealing or kidnapping a crew member, it's, like, providing, like, a structure to this of just, like, hey, what happens when pirate crews disagree or they want another crew member or, you know, whatever? There's got to be, like, an honorable way to do this, or as honorable as we can make it. Like, there is honor amongst thieves. There are honor amongst pirates and shit like that, right? Like, and so, if anything, I'm not seeing why Davy Jones is, like, straight up overtly evil here. What's inside the locker? Davy Jones works out a lot. These are his socks. What was inside of Davy Jones' locker in, I'm not a huge fan of the Pirates of the Caribbean series. But wasn't it just like a white void, right? If I remember correctly. That movie was weird. Here is the inside of Davy Jones' locker. Oh, God. His heart. Ooh, his heart. That's something. Sand, mostly. It was damn souls. Wasn't it just the portal to the afterlife? See, I don't remember. I only saw that movie once back in like 2008 or 9 or whenever it came out. We actually watched it in school. I remember this. I was in high school, and it was like near the end of the school year, so it was just like, let's just watch movies. And that was the one movie where it's like, whenever you hear, like, we're going to watch a movie in school today. Dude, Pirates 3 was so boring. I was sitting there, like, not even paying attention. I was reading a book in the classroom. You'd think that, like, oh, we get to watch a movie today. I'd be like, no, this is boring as shit. I'm reading whatever I'm reading. I don't know. Reading Frankenstein or something. He's greedy. He claims all the ships and the treasure that's sunk. All right, greedy, not evil necessarily. We all know from Full Metal Alchemist that greed is not necessarily a bad thing. So, yeah. We do know, by the way, what Davy Jones actually looks like. Oda did draw him, and it's kind of like drawing him sort of in like a joke way. But knowing Oda, he might go back and actually make this like a canon appearance. Teching, I saw online that the names for at least the Western Village come from the names of the early Nordic colonies on Greenland. That's interesting. I was always kind of like underwhelmed by the names of the villages on Elbaf. They've kind of grown on me though, like Western Village, Artisan Village, Alcohol Village. I'm like, okay, at least you're consistent. And like overall, like the idea of just naming the town of what it's known for, I'm not against that. That seems like okay. I think it's just because like, is the name of the town just Western Village? Like, that's it? Just like, then we started to learn about the other, like the Huntsman Village and everything, and I was just like, oh, okay, I guess we could do that, yeah. Yeah. David Jones. I got it somewhere around here. I wonder what happened to Wang. You know, I want to learn about Wang's adventures. I'm sure Wang got into some crazy shit over the years. Howdy doody. No, that's not it. But you want to see the original design for Katakuri? There's what Katakuri almost looked like. Honestly, I could see it. I could see it. Yeah, I can't find it, but it's on here. It was in one of the reviews. I remember I mentioned it, but yeah. Charlotte Frankie. The dough pompadour. Because Katakuri's the minister of flowers, so the dough pompadour really does it. Yeah. I think it could have worked. Yeah, we'll go through some super chats here. Let me just pull them up over here because I have a list of everything. We're also going to talk about we'll talk about Angie after this, but let's go through super chats. You know what? What if we got the Davy Back fights wrong and they are indeed meant to be cheated and backstabby? From everything shown, it's only the Straw Hats who ever played by the rules. You know, that is true, although we've only seen the Davy Backs officially between the Straw Hats and the Foxy Pirates, right? And the Foxies were dirty, dirty cheaters, but we don't know if that's the standard. We know Rocks participated in these, but we never really saw him actually. We saw him in one, like, flashback panel, like, have the gloves, but, like, I don't know, man. I feel like Rocks would have been a stand-up fellow. I feel like he would have actually dedicated himself to it. And there is honor amongst the pirates in some capacity, right? There are certain things you just don't do and you don't cheat. And remember, I think that might be how Whitebeard ended up joining Rocks. I think Rocks beat Whitebeard at a Davy Back competition, like a boxing match that lasted like 10 days or something like that. And then Whitebeard finally, Rocks finally beat Whitebeard. And Whitebeard, was like, all right, fine, I'll pal around with you for a little while. I don't think Whitebeard would have joined him if it was like he cheated or backstabbed or something that Whitebeard found dishonorable or something like that, Thanks to Ash for the $2. Robin said that, Scopper Gabon, that was the person that commented. Robin said he was cursed to live in eternity at the bottom of the sea due to the sea devil. Right, we don't have any idea more context than that. I mean, like, cursed to live at the bottom of the sea, you would immediately jump to the idea that, like, Davy Jones was this evil demon of a human, of a man that, like, was cursed and bound to the bottom of the ocean, but we have no idea. That's just a legend that Robin spoke about. And that legend could be true, it could be partially true, or it could be garbage. It could just be the whole thing is just misinterpreted, and it's been 900 years, you know what I mean? So legends and stories kind of take on a life of their own at a certain point. So, yeah. This is a new one just now from David. Do you think Emerald City is on Lodestar? I'm actually going to make a video about Emerald City. It's an old One Piece theory, and it pops up every now and then, but I've never made a dedicated video on it, so I will be making a video about Emerald City. I don't know when, but I was working on it a little while ago. From Omega, oh no, this is from Ricardo first. Davy Jones has the gold fruit from that movie. Yeah, I mean, like, that's perfectly fine. Like, the gold no Mi was not some kind of broken ability. It was a paramecia that was awakened that controls gold. I mean, it kind of falls in the same category as, like, the Dorodoro no Mi allowing Mr. 3 to control wax, or Magellan's Venom no Mi with poison. The gold fruit is not, like, now, like, making, like, Uta's devil fruit canon, that thing was busted for a bunch of different reasons. The luck fruit from Film Gold, you could really mess around with that. But, yeah, no, Gil Tesoro's gold fruit, I don't see any major problem with that. If you want to incorporate that in the story, I think that would be perfectly fine. There was also Mad Treasure, the guy from the Heart of Gold OVA, and he had the chain fruit, and I thought that was also a really cool idea that could be incorporated into the story. From Omega, you do realize Davy Jones has been given ships in gold. Oh, we already talked about that. Yeah. So, like, yeah, I mean, like, it could be a thing where, like, the more tributes he received, like, maybe he gets revived, or the stronger he becomes, or a seal has to be broken or something like that. Totally. That could totally be a thing. At the end of Elbaf, do you think Robin will have a talk with Jarl, revealing something about Uranus? Yeah, I feel like we have... I don't know if the tree is still going to be there, but, like, yeah, at the end of Elbaf, after the Gods Knights have been defeated, like, we gotta have, like, a little bit of a moment where everybody kind of touches base, gets reunited, and talks about shit. Like, we gotta learn stuff about Loki's past, there's stuff about, like, the giants, and we still have to go up to the astral realm. Like, there's so much shit we still need to learn about that we really haven't touched upon yet. And so I hope Elbaf is still around, at the end of the arc. I know that the tree is collapsing, but let's talk about the Harley text really quick. There's some stuff I forgot to bring up. What if Emu is also a sun god, or the real true sun god? This is from Cody. Thanks for the $10. Okay, so... from what we've seen in the Harley, there are at least 3 distinctive interpretations of the sun god Nika. Could be way more. Could be way more. I said it's like sort of like a half joke in the review. There could be like 10 sun gods, and Jarl at the end of the chapter was mentioning, like, the snow and the thunder will happen, and then the drums of liberation will boom out, and then the sun god will rise. Really dramatic and all that kind of shit. But, like, honestly, there could be more than one sun god. Like, and we could have Luffy and Loki be the sun god. Road could be a sun god. Emu could be one of the sun gods from the previous era. Joy Boy had the power of a sun god. There's been 3 sun gods, so why can't there be 4 or 5 or 23? We'll see how it goes. And maybe that could be where the origin of all the confusion comes from. There's like a shit ton of sun gods, right? Let's just do it. Go all in on it. Let's see. That was from Cody. Another one from Ricardo for 5. I think it was just 2 sides fighting, and as the war went on, they did more and more gradual, horrible things. Too late to stop now type of thing. Yeah, you can always look at that. I mean, like, that's how a lot of war goes, too. Like, one side thinks they're justified, the other side thinks they're justified, and then pretty soon both places are just completely obliterated. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what happened at the end of the Second Age. The world government was able to be the ones that ultimately rose from the ashes and kind of established a system and everything like that. But, yeah, both sides probably thought they were in the right, and both sides ended up probably being in the wrong. You are the sun god. He is the sun god. Everybody's the sun god. There is a theory, and a lot of people are not fans of it. I could do a poll if you're a fan of it. I'll do a poll. I'll do a poll. Because I kind of would like to see it. Because I've seen some concept art of this, and it looks so damn sick. This is a weird question, but do you want Luffy to give the power of the sun god to all of the Straw Hats? Yes or no? Meaning that all of the Straw Hats attain a level of sun god power. So they all have white hair, Chopper's fur goes white, and they all get the ribbon, and they all have the ability to do wacky nonsense, maybe for a limited time. I can understand if I think the majority is going to be no, and I can understand why. I totally get it. But just from the style of, I've seen so much concept art of people drawing this, and it's like, oh man, Zoro looks so sick. Nami looks so damn cool with that power. Like, Brook with that power looked so damn neat. I'm like, I just want that. I want that kind of, yeah. Yeah, Naruto giving the Kurama's chakra to everyone, and I was fine with that. Like, I'll complain about a bunch of things with Naruto. That was not one of the things I complained about. Asta does it in Black Clover. I thought it was sick there. I think I just like that trope. I just like that trope. Yeah. Yeah, I'd be all right with it. But I get why it's okay if you don't. I get it. It would be straight out of Naruto. If Davy Jones was king, I answered that one already. Do you think Lily went against? Yeah, we kind of went over that, like the story of it. Another one from Scopper Gyaban. If everyone got a sun god form, I prefer it be each had their freedom to do it with their respective powers, not all rubber users. I mean, like, yeah, we could do that. Like, they all get this general form of it, but, like, Zoro's abilities are obviously more sword-based, and Sanji's abilities are kicking. You know, Nami's ability is to manipulate the weather. You know what I mean? Like, not even with the climate attack, she could just manipulate the weather now. Robin becomes an angel, not a demon. She ascends to angel. Brook's powers are all music. Frankie just turns into a Megazord the size of, like, a mountain. Like, yeah, now with that idea, though, that sounds neat. Yeah, I understand them all having the same kind of rubbery powers would be kind of lame. A man dies when he is forgotten. A black hole is a dead star. The Yami Yami Nomi is the forgotten sun god. Sad. Sad. Finally, we get bad timeline, Frankie. Yes. Nico just asked for $5. This just clicked with me. What if Oda named the Azure Dragon Fruit a fish fruit as a reference to how Gyarados is the evolution of Magikarp? Yes, but you're not going deep enough with it. There is a old proverb. I can't remember if it's from Japan. I don't know if it's Japan or China. I think it's Japanese. That a koi fish can live like a really long time. And if a koi fish like lives to be 1,000 years and like climbs up a waterfall, it ascends and turns into a dragon. That's why Magikarp exists as the Pokemon. A lot of Pokemon come from like old folk tales of like Japanese lore, and that's where it comes from. But it is China. Okay, gotcha. Those from China. Right. So there it is. There we have it. But you're not wrong. It's just that, like, it doesn't stretch this back. This goes back to the ancient, you, like, take an old book and you blow the dust off of it and, like, from the 90s. Pokemon Generation 1. From the long, far-off land of the 90s. That's where Oda got this idea. Yeah. It was a little bit before that. It came a little bit before that. Yeah. Jarl's line may come from the Galila Giants. Yeah, the Galleria Giants could have said something about this where, like, you know, this is how the sun god is going to rise again. We still need to learn more about them. Do you think Shanks used trickery to bring Loki back? We answered that one already. I don't think he did. Nika is actually the Straw Hat. Oh, Oh, we're gonna. Oh, that is a Dr. Stone. that is kind of a Dr. Stone finale. It turns out the Straw Hat is the sun god the whole time. Oh man. Do you think that the Gods Knights and the Gorosei are given a Conqueror's weakness so that the Advanced Conquerors Hockey will fight them and not the... I mean, like, it's a weakness, but, like, they can still regenerate. Like, I would say it's a weakness if, like, you use Advanced Conquerors Hockey, slice off a Gods Knight's arm, and it just doesn't regenerate. If that's the way it was, then it would be a weakness. It still regenerates. Rock slashed Garling's head almost completely off, and it still came back. So it's a weakness, but, like, not so much of a weakness that it's like completely debilitating. Dr. Stone ended. The manga did a little while ago. There was actually it's called Dr. Stone 4D. It's like a 3-chapter like finale of it, and it kind of touches upon some other stuff. But yeah, go back. We talk about Dr. Stone a little bit at the beginning of this stream. I might be making a video about it. Yeah. Hey, could Russian smiling be lineage factor? Lucian, that's Senor Pink's wife. Maybe? It totally could be. I think it's not even so much lineage factor. I think Oda's going from like a mind, body, soul type situation. Like Kuma's body was completely modified to be a robot. His mind was completely wiped using science, but his soul lived on, and that's why the soul could still smile. Like that's something Oda's doing there. Robin and Lilith need to look at the Harley text. Absolutely. They 100% do. And that'll probably happen if there's still an Elbaf and if there's still a library. If there's still a Harley text at the end of the arc, then they'll look at it. Do you think Emu would have overlooked Lily being a member of the Will of D? Absolutely not, because when Cobra was talking with Emu, it seemed like Emu was almost like, I've been suspecting for the last 900 years that Lily was a D, was a member of the D, but I've never had confirmation. And then Emu in this line, I just watched it the other day. Emu is up there talking to Cobra and is like, what was the line that appeared on that letter? How did Lily sign her name, Cobra? Say it. And then Cobra realized he's dead anyway, so he don't give a shit at this point. And he's like, it was Nefeltari. D, Lily. And then immediately Emu's like, D. And then immediately stabs Cobra. So that was like Emu being suspicious for the last, like, better part of 1,000 years that Lily betrayed them and was actually a D, but didn't know for certain, and now they do, and they are pissed. All right? Royally pissed. Yeah. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, and Amanda, I will get back to you today. I will get back to you sometime today. I'll email you about that. Sorry it's been taking so long, but I will get back to you on that. Yeah. Thank you for the 5. How excited are you for Bleach? Pretty excited. Like the Core 4? Yeah, like pretty excited. Pretty excited. It's coming back. I'm going to do Bongcast again. It's a channel I have where I talk about Bleach. It'll be... I'm going to try a different format than I usually do, but we'll see. I'm going to try to go back more to like a classical format of the way that I reviewed the original chapters. Hydrate! Okay, hydration! Is essential. Some of Emu's power is sci-fi tech from the past. Yeah. I think that's pretty clear. I mean, like, they definitely defeated the Ancient Kingdom and like, co-opted a lot of the shit that they had. Yeah. Also, the fact that they're interested in all that technology to use it for themselves. Does Emu and the Gorosei have therapy sessions? No. No. Ugh! Hydration! Why is Emu's shadow a Teletubby? Wait a minute. You might be onto something. Okay. Wait a minute. Who is the green Teletubby? Because I can kind of see it. The green Teletubby had the one that just stuck directly out of their head, you know? By the way, I don't know if you remember the Teletubbies, but there's the Teletubbies. Here's a Japanese version of the Teletubbies, I guess. There's a Teletubbies! Dipsy? I don't fucking remember. Dude, I was a kid when Teletubbies were huge, and even as a kid, I had no fucking idea what the Teletubbies were about. I was like, what is the plot line? What is the continuity here? I don't know. We're going through all the super chats. It's okay. Freedom boner. It's okay. We'll get to them. Yeah. The sun was a laughing baby. It's just great. It's like, what? That was brainwashing. The Teletubbies was a fever dream. It was a fever dream for sure. All right. Okay, here we go right here. Let's see. Freedom boner. Have you ever considered that Pluton is a Klabautermann? Tom said you can't make a pirate ship or a marine ship. So how could you make a warship that could make the sunny Pluton eventually? Really, a lot of people want the sunny to be Pluton. You know what? I'm going to go a step further. I want Frankie to become Pluton. I don't want the sunny to become Pluton. I want Frankie to become Pluton, right? Which he basically does in the bad timeline. Yeah, I mean, like, I would definitely be okay with more Klabautermann lore to kind of add more into that. That'd be really sweet to have that. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I saw an interview with, like, I saw a thing on Facebook a little while ago that the Teletubby baby, the sun baby, is now a mom. Yeah, and her kid is now in elementary school. So it's like, yeah, I'm old. I'm old. Yeah. Let's see here. Malik, I think 36, that's from the Mural. 36 is Jormungandr. Loki will use the sword to fight it, and Usopp will awaken Conqueror's Haki and wield Ragnir. Love you, Tekking. Well, thank you. A full week late, but is it possible Gunko got the immortality surgery of the Op-Op fruit, like her father was ordered to do it, and in rebellion performed it on his daughter instead? So, I don't think what's happening with Gunko right now has anything to do with the Op-Op fruit. Now, Kureha, there's a non-zero chance of that. But because we've already established that the Gorosei have, like, halted the aging process when you get the Abyss Covenant, we already know Emu does, at least in some way, have the ability to make people immortal, like, give them at least eternal youth. Not eternal youth, but, like, freeze you at a certain age and you don't get any older than that, right? So, like, with the Gorosei, they're all old dudes, but J. Garcia Saturn has been an old dude for the last 200 years. He hasn't aged at all in 200 years. So I'm thinking since Emu is clearly involved with Gunko and is weirdly obsessed, then there's probably something going on there with Gunko having a covenant or getting a special ability that allows her to not age. All right? So I don't think it involves the Op-Op fruit, but I think Kureha having the Op-Op fruit probably is real. That theory is one that I do go along with. Does Kai have Conqueror's Haki? Not yet. Not yet. Let's see. As per Mural number 24, let's see here. So number 24 is the dragon, is red line, and then 36 is the red line. Well, during that time, Luffy fights Emu, Blackbeard. Loki is so big that his role is to fight 36 and protect Luffy's alliance. I think Loki's going to go to Fishman Island because I think Mosa is Shirahoshi. And I think that moment might result in the end of Fishman Island. Especially if Loki is a giant-ass dragon. But then again, how's Loki going to get down to Fishman Island? If he has a devil fruit, he'd have to get on a boat. That's a whole other thing. I don't know. You said you traveled a lot lately. Yeah, I traveled a lot in 2025. I went to Japan, I went to Vegas, and I went to Los Angeles. Los Angeles was for a convention. It was for a Friday the 13th convention, actually. I went with my mom. Vegas was for a concert. Me and Spooky and a few of my friends went, called the When We Were Young Festival. It was like Panic at the Disco. Blink-182 was there. I got to see Weezer. Weezer was cool. And Avril Lavigne was there. She was awesome. I went there, and then Japan was just because Japan. And I'm actually going back to Japan. We're planning another trip to Japan later this year. So I will be back there. And we're going to be there longer this time because last time we were there, we were only there. We only got like maybe a week or so of Japan. This time we're going to a few places, so it'll be fun. I do want to go to Canada. I do want to go to Montreal. I want to go to Vancouver. There's a lot of places I want to go. I want to go to Quebec. I want to go to Quebec during the winter, which might sound like a horrible idea, but it looks very beautiful. It's a very beautiful looking city. I had a friend that went there last year or 2 years ago, and they really liked it. So, yeah. Okay. Hey, Teching, I don't know if you saw, but I made thanks comments on your recent Usopp video. It's a bit long-winded, just wondering if you saw it. I saw a thanks comment. I think I was driving when I looked at it, and I think I forgot to respond to that. But I'll go back and check that out on the Usopp video. Thank you, Dagda. Thank you. I will look into that right after this. Because I got to do some housekeeping stuff after I'm done, and then I have to go do something else. I have lunch, and I have to go check on something today. If you pull up to Vancouver, I will pull up to Vancouver at some point. I'm in Quebec, and there's like 5 feet of snow right now. Nice. Cool. What's for lunch? I'm probably just going to eat like a sandwich or something, although I did make I do have salmon, but I was going to have that for dinner tonight. And then I made this Alfredo thing yesterday. That was really good. So, go to Norway. I would love to go to Norway. Don't text and drive. I didn't. I was driving, and I got a little beep on my phone. I'm like, oh, someone sent me a thing. And then I put it back down. Don't text and drive, kids. And then I forgot about it. Sorry. All right. Do you think what happened with Loki and Lola? We answered that. I think we answered most of these. Could Loki's dragon be an ancient weapon? Do you know when was Whitebeard's power confirmed? The Gura no Mi? I mean, that was confirmed during the flashback. He already had that power when he talked to Kaido about it. Do you think this last chapter will settle Oda's beef with the PTA? Is the official translation, did he actually use PTA? Because that'd be really funny. Hold on. Because I actually haven't looked at the official translation of that scene yet. Yep, it's in there. That's just a thing that's like the PTA members are constantly telling Oda, like, tone down the violence. Nami's boobs are too big. And Oda's just like, yeah. It just keeps going. But that is funny that he put that in there. Yeah. Answered that one. I answered that one. Answered that one. Okay, I think we got all these ones. Yeah. Now, Angie, though, we'll lead out. This will be the last poll we do. I know Sai really wants Angie to be the villain, which I'll be honest with you. Is Angie a double agent? Yes or no? I'll be honest with you, straight up. If it is revealed that Angie is a double agent, and she pretended to care about Johanna or whatever. Maybe she did care about Johanna, but she was still a double agent. Like, if that was the twist, that would hit hard. I will say, that would hit very, very hard. But it can't be, right? No, Angie can't be a double agent. No. Yeah, I saw Sai's response to it. He was just like, I don't know about this. Angie, I don't know about this. It would be the perfect opportunity. And I'm like, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Oh, man. Vasil. Oh, no, I answered that one already. Okay, I think we're all caught up then. Yeah. Hey, we all have our cracked One Piece theories, right? I wanted Loki to be an eagle. Sai wants Angie to be evil, right? Like, you know, we all have our little enjoyments in One Piece. Like, Loki's an eagle. Let's go. Like, all right, he's a fucking dragon. All right. It looks sick as hell. I'm not mad that Loki turned into a dragon. It's so damn sweet. We had a dragon already in Wano. That's why I was a little bit hesitant. We already had Momonosuke. We already had Kaido. We already had all of the dinosaur Zoans. We just had Killingham, who also has the only proper Ryu Nomi that's actually a dragon, just revealed. I'm like, we have a lot of dragons in this story. But then again, dragons are important in this story. Like, there's the celestial dragons, there's dragon, Monkey D. Dragon. Like, dragons are important in this story. So, like, I guess I shouldn't be complaining over the copious amount of dragons. Yeah. Every arc, somebody dies. Who will die in Elbaf? Jarl. Jarl might kick the bucket. It'll be sad, too. It'll be sad. Loki was in his hybrid form. He's still an eagle. He can still fly like an eagle. Dragon number 21. Yeah, Vegapunk was... The Celestial Dragons literally hired Vegapunk to bioengineer dragons for them. So there was something going on there with dragons. Yeah. Missed my super chat. All right, I know I read one of yours, but you might have sent me more than one. Hold on, let me go back and check. Is it the Jormungandr one? Because I did answer that one. Oh yeah, you just said for $2. It's just more naive Odin or Harald. Oh, okay. Harald, I'd say, was more naive. Oh, here's one. I'll answer this one first. I'd say Harald was more naive. Odin, I think, just had too much of, like, that samurai pride. Like, dude, going back and looking at Odin's story, it is really frustrating because, like, Odin goes and almost kills Orochi, and Orochi's like, ha ha ha, you cannot kill me, Odin! I am Lord Orochi! I am backed by Kaido, and if you try to do anything, I'm gonna kill all of these hostages. So, what you're gonna do is dance naked in the streets every week, and then I'll let all the hostages go. And you know Odin was like, okay, but you're gonna be honest with me now. Oh yeah, sure, totally. Okay, then. Odin proceeds to go back home and doesn't tell anybody about this. Doesn't tell Kinemon or the rest of the Scabbards or Toki. I don't even know if he told his own fucking wife about what was going on. He's just like, yes, I have decided to all of a sudden just start dancing because that will save the people. That was really naive. Odin was kind of an idiot there. He could have at least told the rest of the Scabbards about it, his closest confidants. Now, Kanjuro was also part of that, so it's probably a good thing he didn't tell them. But I don't know, man. He'd be like, you know, it's just nobody communicates, right? Then you got Harald, though, that has just been repeatedly over the course of decades, people telling him that this is a bad idea, rocks telling him this is a bad idea, giving him reasons why it's a bad idea. And Harald is just like, nope, still, it's the only way. It's the only damn way. There is not the only damn way. There are other ways. So I'm going to say Harald. Anyway, new Destro. Hey, Tekking, first of all, thanks for your amazing content. So I have never heard one people talking about it is if Gear 5th Luffy is full Zoan transformation, does that make Gear 4th his hybrid? You know, that has always been a discussion because, like, the idea is when you are a human that eats a variant of the human fruit, you might not have the standard 3 different forms, right? So it's sort of like the full human form and the hybrid form, like, sort of blend together. Because there is no hybrid form because you're already a human, or maybe the hybrid form is Gear 5th. You know, I wouldn't say Gear 4th is the hybrid because that's something that's like, you know, really different. Like Luffy has to go into that form specifically using Muscle Balloon. I think it's more of like him getting a better handle on his Devil Fruit, training with his fruit, and then Gear 4th is like an introductory step. It's an important stepping stone to reach Gear 5th. So it's like him just getting more skilled with his fruit. But yeah, I think like let's say if Chopper as a reindeer ate the reindeer Nomi, right? He wouldn't have 3 forms anymore. He would probably just have 2. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, the way that would go. Or maybe if Chopper ate like a mythical reindeer Zoan. He ate the mythical reindeer Zoan model Rudolph. He would really just have, like, his nose would turn blue to red. Like, that's the only difference. Yeah. It's because she's happy. Well, could be another reason why. Yeah, Gear 4th is a technical technique. That's the thing. Like, Luffy's not just casually shifting into Gear 4th as a hybrid. Like, all other Zoans, even the mythical Zoans, have a hybrid and have a full form, right? Luffy, though, because he's a human that ate the Hito Hito no Mi, I would understand he would lose one of those transitions, one of those forms. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Or, you know, that's another way of looking at it, too. There's no forms at all. Because there is no, he just more, or rather, there's the full human Luffy and then a full animal form of Luffy. But because he's the Hito Hito no Mi, there is no full animal form. Everything just blends into the hybrid and then the awakening. There you go. Don't even have to make it complicated with two forms. Everything just gets blended into a hybrid and then boom, gear 5th. And that's the awakenings. That's something separate. There you go. Done. Solved. Myth busted. I never saw Mythbusters, but I'm assuming at the end of every single one they just myth busted. I never didn't get into Mythbusters that much. Like, it's a cool idea. I just never got way into it. Didn't the two hosts of Mythbusters like actually hate each other though? I mean, not hate each other, but they didn't really like each other too much. Wasn't that like I remember reading about that. Yeah. Yeah, I got all these ones. Okay, cool. Well, we've been going on for about an hour and 45 minutes now. We have over 1,100 people in here right now. So thanks to everybody. Thanks to everybody for the donations. Thanks to everyone talking about One Piece. I think we covered everything in the chapter. I mean, like, there was the really sad moments with the kids. I mean, there's not much in terms of lore to discuss there. It was just a really emotional moment. My super chat. All right. I will look up yours. Imagine if Blackbeard kills Loki and takes his devil fruit. Oh, that's scary, but also kind of cool. Oh, here's something. Yeah, I missed this one. Emu having the human fruit model Faust or the goat fruit modeled Mephistopheles would account for all of his powers. I don't want Emu's powers to just come from one singular devil fruit. I don't care how busted it. I mean, how like cool it is, like Mephistopheles or like the Devil's Owen. Like having one devil fruit that does all of the crazy things that Emu can do with the covenants and living forever and the shadow powers and apparently being able to give out their powers to other people and Domi reversing everybody. Like, even if it was like the Devil's Owen, right? Like, I would rather Emu be an actual deity, be an actual god with all of the things that they can do. Loki previous devil fruit user was the dragon Ryuma Slade. Could have been. Frankie's Wano Vivre card revealed that the original name in Ryugashima. Yes. The original name, we know there was a scene where I think it was Izo that was looking at Onigashima, and it was like, oh, they're calling it Onigashima now, and he doesn't actually mention what the original name was. And I think one of the original concepts for Onigashima was Ryugashima, but Oda might have actually incorporated that into the lore where it was actually at one point named Ryugashima and then changed to Onigashima. Yeah. Now that would be an upscale for Ryuma. I mean, Ryuma was the damn sword god. I mean, I don't know, man. Like, if you can't cut up a dragon the size of Loki, could you even call yourself the sword god? I don't know, man. I don't think you could. Yeah. Nico, yes, I did read your super chat. I did, yes. The Magikarp thing, yeah. It comes from a Chinese folktale that was then adapted into Pokemon that then Oda adapted for One Piece. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like the island that's looming next to Wano that has the skull of a giant as a mountain, I feel like they would have called that something. I don't think they would have just been like, that's the unnamed island. I think they would have called it something. And its name might be relevant. Yeah. But anyway, that's the stream. I think I'm going a little bit overboard what I usually do, but this is a big chapter. There was crazy stuff going on. So yeah, thanks to you all for watching. I'm gonna go get some lunch. My super chat. Wait a minute, Robin, did I read yours? Oh, it's just Lola ain't handling all of that. Well, no, she can't, and no, she didn't. Yeah. So there you go. Yeah. All right. So anyway, you all have a good night. I'm going to get going. I'm going to make a video about going more into detail with the dragon this week. There's also a tier list idea that I want to do It's kind of a goofy side thing. It's not even One Piece related, but I kind of want to do it. And then there's also a Dr. Stone video that might be coming up soon in the future, and also discussing Shirahoshi and Loki, and then the whole thing with the mural. So look forward to that. There is a break this week. Forgot to mention in the review, but there was a break this week. So next chapter will be out. The unofficial will probably be out on the 26th of February. Yeah, somewhere around there. So, yeah, we got time to talk about stuff. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you all have a good rest of your Sunday or your Monday or whatever time of the week it is for you. Have a good one, everybody. Teching, signing out. Latest.